you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test. Another legal matter. Here, guys, is getting into our Ask an Idiot question here. Just saw this, thought it was interesting. So we've all seen the picture of Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. So this is the diagram of the nude guy kind of standing there with a circle around him. It's sort of a study in human proportions and movement, right? Mm-hmm. Certainly that's a very old...
I gotta have a movement.
Sure. It's a very old work of art. It's been, replicated and produced on, you name it, T-shirts, et cetera, et cetera. It's out there. There was a German puzzle company, Ravensburger, that tried to make a puzzle with the image on it, and they were sued by... Let's see here. They were sued by an Italian court. No, they were sued by the museum. Excuse me. So the Italian museum where the original work of art was housed tried to file a suit because you can't reproduce that image in Italy without paying some type of a fee to them or something like that because they own the original piece. Now, the German company was outside of the country. So the puzzle company won, okay? But it kind of brings up this whole thing about, it's clearly an old work of art that is now out there in the public domain at this point. So really, once something reaches the public domain, you should have, in most cases, legal rights to pick it up and portray it. I looked up recently just what's in public domain. Like Winnie the Pooh's there.
Right.
A lot of the old Universal monsters are there, for example. Frankenstein's monster, a lot of those characters are there. We've talked about there's going to be some DC characters getting into the public domain in a few years and all this and that and the other. So kind of once it's there, it's kind of hard to, there's not much you could do to fight that, right? So
you said that was only within Italy then? If it's reproduced in Italy, they have to pay? Is that what it is?
The original resides in a gallery in Venice. The museum sued Ravensburger over its use of the image in a jigsaw puzzle as far back as 2009, citing Italy's Cultural Heritage and Landscape Code, which gives public institutions in the country the ability to earn fees for commercial replication of artworks, even ones residing in the public domain. Ravensburger contended that the code only applied to Italy, but a Venice court sided with the academia. It's really that Ravensburger... Oh, I take that back. The puzzle company lost that. It had to pay a fee. Right? Fast forward...
Was the puzzle being sold in Italy?
It was... I don't know that. So you fast forward to... There was a ruling in 2023 that a court in Germany sided with Ravensburger, ruling that the company did not have to pay the fee and that Italy's Cultural Heritage Code did not apply beyond its borders. The court said the Italian code broke with European law, which standardizes copyright protections for 70 years after the death of the artist. So the Italian state does not have the regulatory power to apply the fee outside Italian territory.
So Italy said Germany should pay Italy for it. Germany said Germany should not pay Italy for it. And basically all of Europe said it's after 70 years you don't have to pay it.
There's a European code that after 70 years then you could, the image is not protected. Yeah. And exactly. So
okay.
Yeah.
That is actually a very interesting story. But what's the question?
The question is
Germany or Italy? Who do you like more? Deutschland. No, but I love Italy's food.
Well, let's talk about the artwork side of it for a second. So the original piece is owned. It's hanging in a gallery in a certain country, right? Mm-hmm. It's in public domain. Should the country where the art resides have any way to earn money from that work of art being replicated, or is it like, well, it's too bad, it's in the public domain, and there's really nothing you can do about it? I don't know what the ruling was, but what do you think? I'm just interested in your opinion. What do you think the rule should be?
I think in public domain, I mean, is what it is. If it's going to go back into public domain, of course, yeah, it's up for grabs. But if a country passes a law, you have to abide by the law. We pass a bunch of laws here that everybody outside the U.S. finds absurd or whatnot. But in this country, you cannot break those laws. So if you're in Italy and they passed a law that the museum or whatever it is has the rights because that dead artist stuff is in that museum, that's the law. I mean, law is the law. Outside law,
I was going to say within their borders, absolutely.
Within their borders. If I produce a picture of an artist that's been dead for 500 years, and I replicate that outside of the domain of the country that has those laws, that is what it is. I mean, yeah, I think it was decided properly by the German court.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I do understand
Europe at large, because basically Italy court says they owe, German court says they don't, and Europe goes they don't because it's been too long.
They were in if the company was in Italy and produced it in Italy, yeah, of course you got to pay.
Yeah,
that's the law. That's
what they would have decided, and they would be right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, agreed. I don't know. I think it is an interesting debate, but also, like, when you mentioned the actual image, I'm like, that thing's fucking everywhere.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, we've all seen it a million times, and it's everywhere. Like, fuck, it's on T-shirts at like Kohl's or Walmart. It's just general image that is it's one of those things that, like,
not one of those shirts made in Italy.
It's almost been so long of a thing and so common of an image that, like, I didn't know that Da Vinci made that. Like, I didn't know that. I've seen that image a million times.
I've got underwear with the statue of David on there, and my penis sticks out exactly where his does. It's really something remarkable. It's smaller than the actual statues, but anyways.
So yeah, it was decided fairly, but it is kind of odd to think about because, like I said, it's like any of those classic historic paintings that those images you see all the time. I mean, they're all over the place. It's hard to imagine, and I think maybe because they are so old that you just would never think that, like, you have to pay to use them. They're like part of world history, right? I mean, but. Yeah, like Dean said, it was, I think, decided fairly.
Yeah, you don't have a Frank Da Vinci over there going, my great uncle.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's like you say, how can you have an owner to any piece of art that's that old? Very interesting. And even the gallery, I mean, yes, they own the original piece of work, but I don't know how they obtained it, and it's just there on display to celebrate the culture of that nation. It sounds
like simply by the law. They got it, and then they passed the law probably after all that stuff's in the museum.
Yeah.
Probably at the request of the of the museum itself. Like, hey, we should probably own this, and they probably lobbied and got the law passed. Would be my guess.
Now, let me preface what I'm about to say with saying that absolutely people that create any type of art deserve to be paid for what they have made. Okay. Right. However, whether it be actual art, a drawing, a painting, a piece of music, a film, whatever art you've created, and once you've been paid for it, I almost feel like with art, once you have created it and sent it out into the world, it then kind of belongs to the consumer. You know what I mean? It not belongs to, nobody has ownership of it. But like I said, you deserve to be paid for it. But when you're creating something to be consumed by people, once you've, had your compensation for said whatever piece of art, whether it be, like I said, an album, a song, whatever, doesn't it kind of, you released it into the wild, right? Like now it's out there.
But
like it depends.
Some of it is like you can't just take and create like a shirt that says Star Wars on it, for example, and market it and make money from that on your own. You can get permission to do that.
You two are talking about two different things, though.
Okay.
I think the idea is, Nick, what you're slightly missing is if there's a painting, somebody paints something, and I take the painting, I can go and display it in my house. I could even go display it in public. I can go show everybody. I can show my friends. But I can't make money off that.
Right, or making copies of it.
That's like music. I can turn up the volume in my house and the neighbors can hear it. I can have a block party, everybody can hear it. But once I start making money off somebody else's art, that's where they deserve compensation.
Yeah. If you're charging people money to have a listening party to this album in your backyard, now you have a problem, right? Yeah.
Okay. Well, one way that we support buying art is our TeePublic store, ladies and gentlemen. So go check that out here. Dean is wearing one right this very minute. So
actually, that shirt, when I keep looking in my peripheral, I keep seeing it. So to describe to those who are just listening, Dean has the I Don't Have a Bear in the Fight shirt, which is now on our store. And it's a picture of a bear with a yellow background that says as much, and it's in a brown beige frame. And Dean has it printed on a green shirt. As we were talking about turtles, I keep thinking that you are wearing a Ninja Turtles shirt. It looks like it would be a green shirt.
This would be
their chest plate was like a yellow color with the outline of I was like, it looks like you're wearing like a chest plate Ninja Turtle shirt.
No, I ain't mad at that.
Yeah. All right. Well, interesting story here, guys. And we all agree that ruling made sense, but it is interesting conversation about old works of art and who should profit from that.
Did you just see that shit? If you liked what you saw, like and subscribe. Come back. You're going to want to.